Good morning, UPBOptionMillionaires.com. April 1st, 2015. It is April Fool's. It is a Wednesday, and stock futures are recovering their losses. Late in the session yesterday, had a really sharp pullback, and then after the closing bell, a significant move to the downside. Have since recovered, and if you look, we found support right near last week's lows for S&P 500 futures before bouncing. Actually, a little bit of a higher low. So we'll see we're getting a similar type reaction. See if we consolidate a little bit and make our way back up higher. Let's look at the dollar index. The U.S. dollar index has been recovering off its recent pullback from the Federal Reserve meeting. If you look, the move we had last week to the downside also was met with buying. The euro has been falling like a stone, which has helped to keep the dollar well bid. The euro comprises 40% plus of the U.S. dollar index. From a longer term perspective, U.S. dollar, I'm looking for a pullback again back down to this $95 level, and I think dollar weakness is going to lead to strength for the stock market. Let's look at the bond market. TLT, 20-year bond treasury ETF, putting in a lower high, possibly pulling back, and I think maybe we'll get down at about that 124 level. This is a trade I'm looking to get into. We have a nice pop this morning up about 50 cents. But I'm looking for a pullback in TLT. We'll see if bonds can take a little breather along with the U.S. dollar. How about the VIX? The VIX somewhat elevated yesterday, but still not implying a tremendous move to the downside as we've seen in the past when the VIX has spiked. The fear index has usually sparked selling in the market. And right now, the VIX continues to yawn despite, the VXX got halted. A lot of ETFs got halted yesterday. Just weird type of action. The market has been gyrating, especially late last week, with a lot of swings to the upside and downside. But the VIX just kind of yawning, shrugging its shoulders. So we had to move up late in the trading session. The stocks crumbled into the close, but not what you would expect to see on a 200-plus point down day for the Dow Jones Industrial Average. And now on to the VXX. A lot of people use VXX to trade volatility in the marketplace, and it has not worked out as a long-term investment. Forward reverse split adjusted, $7,500 is now worth $25. Not exactly a great investment. Yesterday, for the first time since its massive 99.999% decline, it was halted. You can see the moves up we had yesterday, about an hour and a half into the trading session. It closed up a little higher, but to me, the VXX continues to be a toilet. And you're just putting your money into a swirling toilet bowl. Eventually, it's going to get flushed away. So let's look at Apple real quick. You can see a pullback yesterday, but still in the confines. This beautiful consolidation pattern that's going to lead to new all-time record highs again for Apple after hitting its W bottom lows back in May of 2013. So look for Apple to see some appreciation here in the start of the new quarter, the second quarter. Google as well remains above support, getting close to that 550 level, but I love it down here. That's where you put your stop. Break below 550. I think we're going to head to 490, but really in the confines as well of this consolidation, long-term consolidation pattern that I do believe is going to lead to higher prices for Google. Twitter was off the chain yesterday, getting up to almost 51.20 before pulling back. This morning is up again. Seems like momentum is starting to build in the name. You see it at 51.20 before pulling back with everything else late in the trading session. And to me, looks poised to get about $56 a share. Get us back up to the October highs before we break out. Look at this beautiful pattern here. Prices are starting to narrow a little bit here, and I'm looking for a big spike up to $56. GoPro, a stock I've been talking about for the last couple weeks, really starting to make its move here. Does not look like much compared to where it was just mere months ago at $95, but this is some sort of a constructive bottom here forming, and I do believe the next move is going to be a sharp 5 to 7% spike to the upside. Ultimately going to get us back over $50 a share. Boeing out this morning, analysts talking positively about the stock. How'd that line get in there? I love when that happens. If you look, again, very bullish. This is a bull flag breakout. I pointed this out yesterday. I'm looking for a move up to record highs for Boeing. Let's look at energy, because energy is in a really sweet spot here, or sour, depending on what you're trading it for. We're running up against long-term trend line resistance. We also have coming across here, this dotted line, if we pull back the charts to a 5-year level, you can see this line goes all the way back. So we're at a really interesting juncture here where I think crude oil is going to pull back. This is going to help push energy lower. XLE, I'll be looking to get some puts. You see, USO, I know a lot of people are talking in the last couple days and even weeks about a possible bottom here. Ooh, double bottom. Here it is. To me, this looks like a wonderful bear flag that's going to lead to lower prices. If you pull up crude oil futures, see a similar type thing. And if you draw a trend line across from, say, a 20-year price perspective, I like using an accent every once in a while. Let me see if I can get the drawing tools up, and I'll just show you real quick what I'm talking about. If you pull a trend line across all the way back from 1999, we are under long-term trend line support. We are under. And not only that, we are forming a wonderful bear flag. See, it's a flag pattern in the opposite direction. To me, it looks like the next move is lower to at least 40, possibly below, which is going to help lead energy lower. Let's see. So if you look at crude oil, if crude oil starts to pull back, I think energy is going to pull back. And we're going to find support in the low 60s here. You draw a trend line across. The first real point of strong support will be about the 6250 level. Let's look at a couple more stocks, and then we'll call it a morning because we got to start trading. It's 10 minutes before the opening bell here. Solar City looking constructive here off long-term trend line support. Triple D still hanging around long-term trend line support. The 3D stocks, I think, are poised. They're heavily shorted for a nice reversal. Also, keep an eye on Tesla. Remains long-term trend line support, trying to break out over that $200 level. PBOptionMillionaires.com. I'll see you in the chat room. If I enter any trades, I'll let you know. And have a great April Fool's. Don't let anyone play any jokes on you, because that's not fun. All right, goodbye.